Hi and welcome to another video by me. This one's going to be going over this 1998 Epiphone Explorer and the sort of latest guise that it is taking on. Any of you who watched the last video of this may remember that I kind of stated in that I wasn't 100% happy with some of the bits and pieces that were going on under the hood, and I think I threatened then to kind of do something about it, and I did, but it turned out a little bit more elaborate than initially thought. But yes, so there's a 1998 Epiphone Explorer. I bought it in about 2000. Back then it was, I presume you would have called it like the Carina, with the natural body colour, gold hardware, gold covered humbuckers, 3 control knobs, same white scratch plate with the pickup selector down there. But yeah, I bought it, fancied tinkering with it, so I bought the Seymour Duncan humbuckers. It's a Jeff Beck in the bridge, and I believe it's a custom in the neck, but was for some reason not 100% happy with it. I reckon there's potentially a few reasons. One being that simply I was tonally naive and expected a guitar to kind of just sound like a rock album, you know, like you'd hit a power chord on a guitar and it would sound like the Foo Fighters, or it would sound like Metallica, or it would sound like any iconic rock band. Whereas, you know, we know now, or I know now, and I hope you guys know, that, you know, a guitar is part of a band. You're not going to make the guitar, generally speaking, sound like a, you know, as full as an entire band. You know, an album has layers and layers and layers of sound. So potentially that, potentially the amp I was using at the time, it was one of those Marshall valve state AVT 100s that had an acoustic simulator and a clean channel and a dirty channel and a lead channel, and then the 2 clean channels and the 2 dirty channels each had their own sort of selectable, I wasn't going to say programmable because it wasn't programmable as such, but selectable effects like flanges, etc., built-in digital effects and digital reverbs and stuff. So yeah, maybe it was that, or like I say, just maybe it was my ear at the time, but didn't get on with it. So handed it to a close friend who took it away, had a look at it, changed a couple of the pots, changed a few of the capacitors in the back on the tone pot to see if we could do anything with that, but to no avail. So first guise was standard, second guise was Seymour Duncan's, third guise was that we then decided, he had a contact who basically made, like, to an extent it's like an overdrive pedal, but a bit like Matt Bellamy from Muse. You know, you'd stick it actually in your guitar. So we done that. We handed the guitar backwards and forwards for quite some time. He'd hand me instructions. I, being working in construction, I would router the guitar, he would do the electrics. I do basic electrics. This was like beyond basic. I'll put a picture up there somewhere showing like the spaghetti junction of cables and wires. And eventually the thing came to be, the third guise, the Epiphone Explorer in its relatively standard look, but with an extra row of 3 control dials. Again, much like a basic overdrive pedal, a level, gain, and a tone pot. But it had a 9-volt battery in it as well, so the tone pot was kind of active. You could boost and cut the treble. But again, there was just, as stated in the previous video, there was just an underlying issue with it, that whenever I hit a note, even on a clean amp, there was just an underlying shadow of that note audible underneath, but just like a horrible little, to me anyway, and it's one of those sounds that once you picked it up I could not let it go. You'd hit a clean note and underneath it would be the overdrive sound of the preamp that was built in, but a tiny little bleed through. So it wouldn't even be like because the overdrive that was built in was quite nice, but it just wasn't. This was just like a weedy little kind of, like someone playing through like a wasp in a tin can into an amp that's broken. that kind of sound to me. And of course, it was one of those things that, you know, we spoke about it, and it was kind of like, well, maybe it's just one of those little idiosyncrasies that make a guitar. You know, much like the Peter Green, Gary Moore guitar that had the reverse phase pickup, which apparently, or one of the stories is that, you know, the guitar tech put the pickup in back to front, and lo and behold, you had that out of phase sound. But it's just one of those things that I suppose maybe I'm just a bit too vanilla in my tastes. I couldn't live with, and that, you know, if I want a funny sound, I'll buy a pedal, or, you know, stick a few pedals together to make a funny sound, so I can switch that sound on and off. This just wasn't switchable, even with the little preamp in the guitar disengaged. That sound was there. When it was engaged, it was absolutely fine. But, you know, the whole idea of having this preamp and having it switchable on and off was to be able to turn it on and off. It wasn't. So yeah, that was it, and I decided that I just couldn't live with that underlying issue anymore. Be it vanilla, as I said of me, or not, it just really wasn't me. I couldn't live with that. As I said, wasp in a tin for a shit amp, and no matter what you've done, once you tune into an annoying sound or something that annoys you, probably like this video for some of you people, you just can't help but keep watching in this case, or keep hearing in my case. And even through like an overdriven amp, I could still just hear this underlying issue unless I engaged that preamp, which, you know, like I say, it was a switchable effect. I didn't want to use it all the time. So I decided to just gut it and go back to the start and see what I could do. But along came my good friend Ryan, who I've been friends with since I was about 16 years old. I'm now obviously 21, so we've been friends for 5 years. And he works in a high-end furniture making factory place. Made furniture for all sorts of things, like high-end yachts. The Diamond Jubilee, was it? Diamond or Golden Jubilee? And he offered his help. A lot of this I could have done myself, not bigging myself up, but like I say, I work in construction, I work with wood all the time. I have a decent array of tools, but there's some things that, you know, a full-on workshop that caters for piecing things together would be a lot better, and especially somewhere which would be able to get hold of for absolutely nothing a rather wonderful veneer for the front and back. So that was it. The project was set. I gutted the guitar, handed it to him, and he went away. Reveneered the front and the back in this sort of flame maple, with a Bird's Eye maple bay cover. That was an accident of sorts. The old plastic one, there was a tiny bit of a mistake on some rotoring, and yeah, the old plastic bay cover then didn't fit, so Ryan made a whole new bay shape to suit a whole new bay cover. Good old Ryan. And then we just sprayed the edges satin black to kind of blend in with the grey and black kind of vision that you have of this guitar. And yeah, so he done his bit, he handed it back, and I put the Seymour Duncans back in. I used a lovely sticker to cover the pickup selector and the old preamp selector switch, and just went for a simple-ish volume, tone, pickup selector, but the volume and tone are both push-pull. So the volume pulls to split this, tone pulls to split this. So I can, if I want, which I quite often like, to have a single coil sound of a neck humbucker. And that is it. So the guitar is now reborn in its another guise. I've also sanded back the neck, or cleaned off a lot of the lacquer off the neck, so it's a lot smoother than the sticky lacquer that you get on a lot of Far Eastern guitars. And it's got a brass nut up here that I fitted ages ago in one of the previous incarnations of this amp. But that's it, it's 90% finished. I've got to get some black strap buttons because it had gold strap locks on it, and I want to get some black locking tuning keys, tuning pegs, keys, tuners, cans of tuna, but dolphin friendly cans of tuna. Not 100% sure what to do with headstock. Do I leave it like it is? You know, leave one piece of the guitar in its original state, or do I have a friend who's works in like sign writing, modern day sign writing, where we do like vinyls and stuff like that. Do I get him to make a vinyl to go over the entire headstock with a different logo on it altogether, or do I get another piece of this maple of the flame and put on the headstock? Who knows? Much the same as my Chapman guitars, I opened that up to questions, and having only a handful of subscribers, you don't get a lot of answers. But anyway, I'm yet to decide what to do with that end. But that is it. Cheers for watching. I'll post another video when it's 100% done, and I'll post another couple of videos soon. I do have a few things that I haven't really covered. I've got the orange Brent Hines Terror that I'm currently using, which will be coming slightly out of your left-hand speaker with most of my effects through. I haven't really done anything on that other than I play through it. I haven't even really covered the Vox amp as such. I just play through that through my left-hand speaker with the wonderful long amp ultra distortion. And I haven't really covered the MF tremolo, which I used in a tune. I say tune, the thing that I made up 10 minutes before this video. Yeah, that's a really versatile, great tremolo, and I got it for like £100 brand new at the guitar show. So yeah, maybe do a video on that. Anyway, if there's anything else you want me to do other than shut up, then let me know. As I always say, please do hit the subscribe button if you find this remotely interesting. Hit the thumbs up button. I don't see the need for the thumbs down button. It seems to be a few people saying this now. It's just like, and I've said it for a while, there's just too much negativity. You don't need a thumbs down button. If you don't like the video, just don't watch it. Much the same as comments. Again, don't watch a half-hour video, which my videos usually turn out to be, and just write your shit. Don't watch the video. It's as simple as that. You know, I don't want to waste your time, and I'm sorry if I did, but it's just, you know, it's just unnecessary. So comments are welcome, constructive criticism are welcome. Being a troll or being a dick is not welcome. Anyway, cheers for watching, those of you who have enjoyed it. Have a great day. Bye bye.